15 degrees, you can see your breath. Out here in the lake effect, breaking tables like it's poetry. Where else would you rather be? Pinto Ron, Elvis, and the Lay Poncho. The members that you need to know. 'Cause once you out here, now you're family. Where else would you rather be? Where else would you rather be?
Welcome into the Nickel City Crew. I am your host, Rob Crippen. Please like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Nickel City Crew. This episode, along with all of our episodes, are presented by Crippen Legacy Entertainment here on Spreaker and StreamYard. We're so glad that you're joining us for some of your Buffalo Bills and NFL content again today. And as always, these are my Bills thoughts said out loud.
It's a vibe so ridiculous. Since 12 plus 83 was 6. The shout rocking like a symphony. Where else would you rather be?
All right, let's get straight to it. Really excited for tonight's episode. I've got an extra guest for the beginning of the show. The Mafia means family. Princess Ivy is in the building. She is leaving soon, but she wanted to say what's up to Nickel City Crew and to Bill's Mafia. Listen, I'm really excited because, listen, it's the halfway point of the season, and it's funny because the reason I named the episode the way that I did was kind of tongue-in-cheek, but it's just, never had a doubt. I mean, the Bills take care of business, beat the Chiefs. Ivy approves, and it's funny because, I mean, you guys could listen to it from last week, and it's not just me. A lot of Bills Mafia was worried about the matchup, and I guess that's what Chris Berman said. That's why you play the game. Joining us tonight, as always, my co-host Riding Shotgun, Adam Dump Truck Rupsick. Check him out on Instagram and Twitter at Adam Rupsick, RUPCZYK. Holla at the crew, DT. Uncle DT, Ivy says, what's up, man?
What a cutie. Welcome on, Ivy. Nickel City, how we doing? Another Friday, ready to rock, and sitting at 6-2. We were talking a lot of concern going into last week. You called me on game day, Rob, and said, tell me why we're not going to get beat by 10. And I told you exactly what happened. I said, offense is going to get back a little. The run game will get going. Josh will find his key, and the defense is going to step up, and all those things came through. We had a big team loss this year against the Atlanta Falcons. Big team win against the Kansas City Chiefs, and we got to start stacking these as we go. This is the best. I love it. You said Mafia means family. Princess Ivy with the Nickel City Crew. This is what it's about, baby. So sitting at 6-2, feel good Friday. Happy to be here.
Yeah, man, I'm really happy to be here. I mean, it's just it's so funny, like, and that's why I said that Chris Berman, like, he's so right with that. He's a vet, and that's why you play the game. You just never know. And I was so convinced last week that the matchup didn't work out. That I was convinced that a lot of things were just not in the Bills' favor. And then you come out there and the defense, they put out their best performance of the season, like hands down. Like it was even better than the Carolina Panthers game because of the opponent that we were facing. And I couldn't be more proud of the way that they played, to be honest. I couldn't be more. Yeah, I'm happy to be wrong. I was wrong about the way that we stacked up against KC. And I know that KC fans and the Nick Wrights of the world will tell you, oh, the Bills won their Super Bowl, their annual regular season Super Bowl. And like that kind of stuff doesn't really matter to me. Like, I understand that he's an entertainer, so he's supposed to kind of feed into the masses that way. But DT, when it comes to the defense, and we'll talk about offense as well as we go through this show tonight, but defense specifically, and we'll talk about Hoyt and stuff like that we lost him. The defense, you really can't ask of anything more. I've got some stats written down that are just eye-popping. I mean, we touched Mahomes and hit him 15 times. He was under 50% completion percentage for the first time in his career. It was something to behold, the way that defense stepped up and played.
Wreaked havoc, and something we've never seen. Even the games we are beating the Kansas City Chiefs in the regular season, Pat Mahomes still getting his in those games. We haven't had big stops like this since I can ever remember against 15 of the boys. So like seeing it. Coming in, you mentioned a few of those stats, 3 of 13 on third down. That's my biggest one out of there. 3 of 13 on third down. It was almost guaranteed they're converting in third down. We can't get off the field on third down with Pat Mahomes. Every game, regular season and the playoffs, can't get off the field. can't get off the field on third down. 3 for 13, got off almost every time. Granted, they did have a what was it, 4th and 17 or 4th and 27?
Yep,
What was
4th and 17.
4th and
Yep.
17 was
Mhm.
buttered, and and that obviously led to a little longer, game than it really should have been. We should have sealed them up a lot sooner than that. But proud of this defense in all levels. I mean, they were rushing, they were getting there with 4. They weren't blitzing. They were blitzing a lot through the year, and then against the Chiefs, they said no, we're going to stand back and cover, and they did, and they got there with 4. Everybody was making plays. Obviously, we'll get into Hoyt later, losing him, but Epineza was in there. The Deion Walker had another good game. These dudes were tearing it up in the trenches, especially defensively. Linebackers were gap integrity. They never really got a run game. Granted, Isaiah Pacheco was hurt, but Kareem Hunt really couldn't get anything going. You got the Rook, Maxwell Harrison, going step for step with
I
Xavier
love it with
Worthy, and then
Worthy. I
having his
love it.
first pick.
I love
You
it.
got Christian Benford coming in, having a great sack on a corner blitz. Yeah, everybody performed, and then saved the best for last with number 24, Cole Bishop. Literally wanted him off the team. He's not athletic. He's not fast enough. The void is too big, and he came out and played literally like an Ed Reed out there, and it was good to see. Pop 87 pretty hard before halftime, and
It
that
was
like
beautiful. It
that.
was
Yes, he was
beautiful.
making plays. He was flying all over the field, but if my safety's ready to step up and lay licks on guys like that,
Mhm.
I'm proud to stand behind it. So hopefully that continues. It wasn't just a flash in the pan, and he gains confidence from playing that well. But it was good to see on all 3 levels of the defense.
It really was, and one of the things that I put down in my notes was just like they bullied KC. They
Yeah,
bullied them on both sides of the ball. And we know Sean McDermott talks about line of scrimmage, and the game is won at the line of scrimmage, and football is that for sure. And sometimes we kind of poo poo it, but it is won in the trenches. They bullied these boys on Sunday night, on Sunday afternoon. They bullied them, and it was interesting to see because of the fact that not only was it the under 50% completion percentage, DT, but like the 3 sacks but the 15 hits. Like when a quarterback is getting hit, and your quarterback is getting hit that often, as an offensive line, it has a psychological effect. On the offense itself, overall, it has an effect psychologically. It was a situation where Mahomes is not used to getting touched that much, and because of the fact that the frequency of the fact that we kept just touching them and hitting them and knocking them down. I love that AJ Epinesa hit on the sideline where everybody's like, why, where's the flag? Like, no, he's in bounds. He's trying to make a play and make a pass. That is a completely legal hit. You bury him into the sideline if he's not going to get out of bounds. I loved every aspect of it. And I think that the fact that we touched him as much as we did had to have some type of cumulative effect by the time the fourth quarter went around.
huge. And 15's one that gets the ball out really quick, right? It's frustrating we haven't been able to get to him, but it wasn't that necessarily we didn't have the right pressure. It just, they get the ball out quick, and that first read's there. And that's kind of been the MO of this whole offense under Andy Reid since back in Philadelphia, right? So the ball comes out, and this time,
That's
that
true.
credit to the defenders in the linebacking core and the defensive backs, where that first read wasn't there, and he was able to get touched. I loved every second of it. That hit on the sideline,
It
you
was awesome.
wince every time 17 rolls out to the right and takes one of those hits on the sideline. But like, finally, like, this dude is getting touched in front of us, and they're going to remember that. That's exactly what happened in the Super Bowl last year to him. With the Eagles came and brought pressure and got to him, and in the Super
And the
Bowl.
Bucks with the
The
Bucks.
Super Bowl against the Bucks, the same shit. So easier said than done. We still got, we still are probably going to have to climb the ladder of beating them in the playoffs, which we know is coming. But I liked it. It looked a little different, especially from the defensive standpoint. And you gotta pat yourself on the back going forward as this Bills team, where a defense obviously only let up 9 points in Charlotte, but the game was away, before Charlotte could even
Mhm.
get it going. But
Mhm.
a year where the defense literally couldn't stop anybody was the kind of the MO, and now you put one of the best offenses on their back literally all night long. So loved it. Loved Mahomes looking like he was about to cry for once instead of it panning to Josh Allen. Loved Kelsey. We were talking with the pads. We were talking with the pads. It was a
Right.
physical game. We didn't just outsmart them. We didn't just out game scheme them. We out bullied them, as you said
Yeah, I'm
in the
physical
early
for
part of
sure.
it. And that's that. And I think that is a lasting impression. Like, you get beat and it's a X's and O's game. you're Kansas City, you're confident going in. Okay, we'll beat them in the playoffs. We got this X and O. But now it's like, man, we got punched in the mouth by this team, and there's going to be a little wince, next time they see us.
Yeah, it really was that way. And like I said, the line of scrimmage and out physical, out physicaling them and just the physicality that they brought. Just a couple of Nickel City Crew game balls. I mean, I joked, DT, that this is like Sean McDermott's wet dream. Like this is like complimentary football, like to the extreme. And because of that, like you've got Mad Max, as you talked about. Even Jordan, Hancock, he got some plays and he got some run there in the back end at safety, which was nice to see. Bishop, you already spoke about it, DT. I mean, what else could you say about him? I mean, he has been much maligned. The consensus coming out of that game was like, man, listen, I think that it might have been a Taylor Rapp problem. Like it might have been a 9 problem. Like the fact that he was with Poyer, the fact that he had that tutelage and stuff like that. He played outside of his mind, broken plays, pass breakups. He really did play his best game, obviously, as a Buffalo Bill in his young career. And like you talked about that hit on 87, Kelsey in the back of the end zone. I know that he was feeling that after the game. Bosa, DT, was on his game. A lot of stuff's talked about that 4th and 17. Listen, Bills Mafia, Nickel City Crew, just so you're aware, I'm not preaching to you guys, but just so you guys are informed, Kansas City ran a fake screen. So everybody's like, why? On 4th down, we sent 4 and Bosa stops running. Bosa did not stop running on purpose. His job is to go get the quarterback. The way that Kansas City had it blocked and schemed up, they made him think that there was a screen pass coming out and leaking out behind him. That's why you see him on the all-22. He stops. He's looking behind him. He's looking behind because he thinks that there's a screen pass the way that the alignment of the offensive line blocked on that particular play. They fooled him. It happens. And obviously, Kansas City converts that. And obviously, it doesn't hurt us in the end. But Bosa was on his game. DT, before we flip to offense, I am so hurt about 55, about Hoyt. Listen, Hoyt, and I got into this on a Twitter space the other night. Like, they were like, well, he's only been here for 2 games. And this, I'm like, doesn't the defense look drastically different with him in? He is I call them the Joker card. He's the ultimate Joker card. You can have your aces. You can have your high kings and queens. Man, if you're saying in this particular game, we're playing with jokers, Joker is wild, man. The dude can do a little bit of everything. And because he can, and he can reduce down and play a defensive tackle, he really, it's so sad to lose him to that Achilles injury. He changed the complexion of the defense and how we looked on defense. And I'm not selling it short, man. The dude is a warrior. You saw him on that clip, how he gets hurt, refuses the cart, wants to hang out with the defense for the rest of the game, says, F it, I'll deal with it tomorrow. I mean, he's going to be a fan favorite before you know it, DT.
Yeah, it sucks. It truly does. I mean, he was making huge impacts right out of the gate. Played huge in Charlotte. Had a turnover. Here had the tip that the intentional grounding call that they tried to challenge because he tipped it, which technically the Chiefs were probably right there, but screw them. They have one call that goes against them ever. That's the key. But the teammate atmosphere, and that shows me this dude was this type of teammate, this whole time leading up to this when he was suspended, being there and just being an all-around good locker room guy. Obviously, that's why he's here. They don't bring people in that don't fit the culture and anything like that. But it being mic'd up and all that happening, and then literally wanting to go win this. Like that's all he cared about on a team that he owes nothing to, a team that he literally has paid a couple snaps for. He knew how much this game meant. He knew what the Bills Chiefs mean. Right. He knows what this Super Bowl window is. And I hope that transcends to other players. I'm not saying other guys don't have it on this team, but I hope that type of vibe, transcends to everybody of this isn't just, like we're out here playing good. We're a good team. This is a Super Bowl window. We need to win a ring, and we have to be close to perfect. And I love the energy there. It's obviously going to stink, but he's still going to be around, and that juice is still going to help people out and help these young guys, know what it's going to have to take to get to that last spot.
Yeah, no, I mean it's unfortunate, with the injury because of the way, like I said, that he was playing, and I got into a couple arguments on shout out to my boy Whittle, on his Twitter Spaces the other night, and I was like, he's a piece, and he's like, well, he just got here, he's only played 2 games or whatever, 2.5. I'm like, but did the defense not look drastically different? I don't think that a Bills Mafia member can say that it didn't. I mean, listen, we give Sean McDermott shit. Obviously, we're not huge fans of him, and 13 seconds on, we've kind of been looking at him skeptical. You've got to, I have to give credit where credit is due. And the fact that he is calling the defense. Now, he may not want to say that because he doesn't want to undercut his guy, Bobby Babbage, and he doesn't want to take any shine away from him. You can tell because he's putting the play sheet above his mouth on calls. He's calling the defense. Now, it still could be a collaborative effort where they're both calling it, but Sean McDermott has got his hands back in the mix. How did you become a head coach? You were a defensive coordinator, an elite defensive coordinator under the late, great Jim Johnson out there in Philly with Andy Reid. Listen, that's how you cut your teeth. That's how you cut your teeth down here in Charlotte, where I am with the Carolina Panthers. Go back to what you know. If you see something that's wrong, correct it. That's what made 13 seconds and then the Cincinnati game so maddening, was because you're the head coach. You know what's wrong, or you know what looks right. That's your side of the ball. Say something. Speak up. He's been speaking up, DT, and for the last couple of weeks, I've got to tip the cap. If I'm going to give him shit when he's not doing his job, I've got to give him credit when he is. And you can tell the defense has looked different these last couple of weeks. He's calling plays, whether he wants to admit it or not.
Yeah. And it was a lot of, what I noticed kind of digging into this game, a lot of disguise stuff. Right. Like in that, I don't know if I'm not saying Bobby Babbage isn't capable of that, but like the past two games, especially, I've seen like a lot of disguise stuff. Obviously, one of the best quarterbacks in the world, and Pat Mahomes, was confused like majority of the night. Like, yeah, we got to him and put hands on him and there was good coverage, but a lot of that was just confusion. Right. And so credit to the scheme of that. And it's all, there's two sides of the coin on this though, Rob, right? Like, it's frustrating. It's like, you're the head coach, that's like 13 seconds, but like, so if this is just you calling plays and this is what the defense looks like, why isn't this
just call them all the time
thing? Like, so like, why do we have to like get to these points and get to these, crossroads where it's like, okay, I'm taking over now and it looks drastically different. And, we're never going to know the full, vibe on that. Who really is doing what? Like, who, is he talking? Is Bobby calling it and he says, actually do this? Or before each drive, he gives him some, let's focus on this and this drive. I don't know, but I like the way it looks the past 2 weeks. Do whatever we got to do. But it's just like, if that's all it is, if it's just him calling the plays and this is what it looks like,
call them all the time, man.
Why aren't we doing this? So that's what makes me think it's not just that, right? It's not just that. It's an overall, scheme switch up, and this is the one that's working, and hopefully the same one that works against the Miami Dolphins this week.
DT, before we transition, I mean, we would be remiss if we did not acknowledge the fact that QB1 17 was 23 of 26, 273 yards, 3 total touchdowns, 1 passing, 2 rushing, a franchise record 88.5% completion percentage. I mean, that's why I said that the episode is named the way that it is. It's a little tongue in cheek. Never a doubt. Never had any. I never had any doubt. You know what I mean? And I'm joking when I say that, but DT, he was locked in from the beginning. And I push back at the narrative that, well, Josh gets up for the Kansas City. Josh is a gamer, so he's getting up for every game. You know what I mean? Now he's human, so he's not a cyborg. So sometimes there's a malaise, and you've got the New Orleans game, you've got the Miami game, different things like that, Atlanta. But he's a gamer, so it's not that he's trying harder because he's playing against Patrick Mahomes, but he's also a gamer. He knows when the lights are the brightest, and he knows that this was a big game. And I think that he was locked in, man. He looked like a completely different quarterback. Obviously, the tight end shined. The receivers still didn't do too much. But if you want a blueprint of why do we have this type of confidence in our offense, why do we have this type of confidence, it's all really predicated on 17. It really is. It kind of starts and stops with him.
Yeah, lasered in. I mean, we talk a lot about the run game the past couple of weeks, and James Cook having a career, season
almost
up there
MVP.
with the best.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. It starts. It all goes through 17. The run game now is defenses are fearing, so that's helping. Lock in. But that was a very well scripted game by Joe Brady. 17 hit his marks. 23 for 26, and some of the misses were the one was on the 4th down when when there was kind of I watched the all 22 on that one. There was a breakdown with that, and Josh just had to kind of
Yeah.
let it loose at Shakir, and the defender made a hell of a play coming over the back of him to break it up. So like it really should have been less incompletions than it was. They was everybody eats in all facets. The run game was there when it needed to, and then they diced them up. The tight
See,
ends looked great, and
see you're break you're breaking up a little bit for me,
I
DT.
lost
I
you
mean,
there too,
I
Rob. Yep.
no, I know. Listen, I mean, I think that Josh Allen knows that the run game can help him. I don't think that it's a situation where he poo-poos anything like that. He knows that the run game can help him. But I also know that I saw it. You have seen it. Bill's Mafia, Nickel City Crew, we've all seen where he knows when he can take over. He knows when there's certain situations where he can kind of go hero ball. Sunday was different. Sunday was just locked in, laser focused. He kind of let the play come to him, if that makes any sense. He let the defense dictate what he needed to do. And I mean, he's finding 86 down the seam, another 100-yard games for Kincaid. He was just in control. There's just no other way to sugarcoat it. He was in control of the entire game plan. Whatever Joe Brady was trying to get accomplished, he was in control.
Laser locked in, loved it. Good to see it back. We need this. We need to keep talking shit about our boy 1-7, like in having his bag, like, yo, we got that boy 1-7, and not that it ever lost its luster, but we couldn't be as loud over the past month about it. And now, I like a game like this, getting back 23 for 26, 3 touchdowns. I think I posted something on my Instagram, said, yeah, that'll do.
Yeah, man. It was really nice to see. I mean, again, Josh Allen, just almost a perfect performance. 23 26, 273, 3 touchdowns, 88.5% completion percentage. I mean, that's a franchise record, they tell me. As we transition tonight, listen, our tonight's show is sponsored by I-86 Network. Listen, check those guys out over there. My boy Bobby Hansen, my boy Tom Wujek from high school. I'm trying to tell you, they're running a great network over there. We are now simulcasting on I-86 Network. Listen, they've got all the Sabres coverage. I don't know why you would want to still be locked into the Sabres, but it's one Buffalo. So please check them out. They've got tons of Sabres coverage. They got wrestling coverage. They got like stuff that we don't even touch on or even think about touching on, but they do it, and they do it a good way. They've got great interviews, all the type of stuff. Listen, check out our guys over at I-86 network. Check them out. I mean, they've got great content. The Sabres are making me a little bit depressed. Nate and I were watching last night, and then when it became like 2-0, and I was like, this team just got blown out last night by Washington, and the goalie's still in the 900 puck, and we can't do anything. Listen, if you're still one of those faithful from the Sabres, listen, head on over to I-86 Network. They've got you covered. They can help you out. They'll get you through this until we fire Kevin Adams and make all these wholesale changes and do all the stuff that Pagula is scared to do. They've got you covered. They'll hold you by the hand. Listen, DT, as we transition, we are at the halfway point of the year, and it's funny because when you look at it, I mean, literally how we talked about at the beginning of the show, Chris Berman, that's why you play the games on the field. Last night, I could have swore that the Raiders are getting ready to beat the 7-2 Broncos because of the fact that, like, they can't score and Bo Nix looks like shit. DT, at the halfway point of the year before we get to Squish the Fish week, I'm not scared of anyone. And obviously we exercised some demons last week against KC, proved to ourselves again that we are on their level, that we are able to box with those guys. DT, top of the conference, 8-2 Denver. Then you've got 7-2 Indianapolis, who has a tough game this week. You know what I mean? They're going to be tested this week. We'll see what they're kind of made of when they go to Germany, play the Falcons. Obviously the Falcons are the Falcons, but they beat the shit out of us, so I'm not going to poo-poo them. New England, huge test this week against Tampa Bay. And then you've got Pittsburgh, who we all think are a little bit of a frauds, and we're sitting at the 5 seed. DT, the conference is right there. We're at the halfway point of the year. I still think what we talked about, what did we name an episode, number 1 seed vibes? I mean, I think it's all still right there, and you'd have to convince me otherwise. I think, obviously, New England, poses the biggest threat because they are technically a half game ahead of us. DT, I look at this conference, and I'm like, this shit is wide open, DT. It's wide open. Everything that you wanted in the beginning of the year when it comes to the 1 seed, getting that rest, hosting playoffs throughout. I mean, tell me that it's not still there. I still think it's there, man.
Yeah, a few surprises, right? I would have
Of
never
course.
guessed the Colts. I would have never guessed the Patriots to start the year, but the overall vibe is the same. The only difference is the Bills, right? The Bills being like we thought it's a no-brainer. The Bills are going to be, the best team in
Undefeated
the
or one loss.
AFC, and then it's like and they were now we're 6-2 and like kind of back to earth a little, but like still 6-2 and it hasn't been a perfect 6-2, but it's 6-2.
Hmm.
And everybody else has been the same, right? The Chiefs, do their thing, and a few decent teams, but there's not the only time I was scared of a team in the AFC was Week 1 Sunday against the Baltimore Ravens. We steal a win basically, and
Yeah,
I'm like, I hope
absolutely.
we don't ever see that team ever again.
That's
Like that's
right.
the most complete team in the NFL, and
Yeah.
now they're a loss away from 6 losses tomorrow, right? So it's
On Sunday,
it
yeah.
yeah, right. You can't be like we beat the teams that you would be scared of. We beat them. We don't play the Colts in the regular season. You got Pittsburgh coming up. You got the Patriots coming up. That you got
Mhm,
the Bucks,
mhm.
coming up. Like they're not in the conference, but a good litmus game coming. And you know, these teams that we didn't think this is kind of went status quo. Just the Bills were a little rockier than we, Homer anticipated when we were going to go 8-0 or whatever the case was, and that just didn't happen. And then all the ceiling was falling down. And I told last week I was a little pissed about Bills Mafia being all like negative about this team after a 40-9
You were,
win, and
you
then we
were,
go out and
you were right.
beat the Chiefs. So I agree. I'm not afraid of anybody. I think we got a lot of work to do, but you can't tell me there's a team that is significantly better than we are right now. If you roll the ball out tomorrow, there's name a team in the NFL, even AFC or NFC, that you're like, oh yeah, I would not want to touch that team with a 10-foot pole. It only
Right.
happened once for me this year, and it was week 1 after that win, and that quickly got erased. So I agree. I'm not afraid of anybody. It's been status quo. It's pretty even keeled right across. But that also means there's opportunity now. Let's take advantage of that, squeeze back into that 1 seed, and take our seats with us after the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting when you look at the conference. Like I said, I mean, if you would have told me beginning of the year 6-2 halfway point, I would have signed up. I would have taken it. You know what I mean? Now I might have had different losses.
13
And
and 4.
I would have
13 and
had,
4 ending,
yeah, I would
right?
have had Baltimore as a loss, and then maybe another one at this point. But like I wouldn't not sign up for it. I'd sign up for it in a heartbeat if it was just the record not telling me who I lost to. So because of that. I'm in a good spot. You know what I mean? I'm in a good spot when it comes to respect to the 1 seed and the conference and different things like that. We'll see how it shakes out, obviously, with another half to go. But it's interesting because this week was it was a little bit up and down. You know what I mean? When it comes to the trade deadline, DT, I wanted to get your thoughts before we get to Squish the Fish week because you know what will Brandon Bean always say? He'll say that it takes two to tango. And he is not wrong about that, Bills Mafia. Nickel City Crew, don't forget, it does take two teams to make a trade. However, I was more surprised at the fact that nothing happened. How about that? Now, even if it was a defensive player, which I didn't necessarily want, but if it was a defensive tackle after Hoyt goes down, because they can reduce down and he could play a little bit of defensive tackle, I would have understood. If it was a defensive end, maybe, you know what I mean? But, Hoyt's down. Obviously, that's his primary position. You've got Landon Jackson, who hasn't really gotten a jersey at all this year. I would have understood that. Receiver was right there. I feel like the way that Brandon Bean's tone, DT, and this has kind of been the consensus around the Mafia, the way that he was talking makes it seem like he was trying to get one, whether it be BTJ or somebody else. DT, we don't get anything done. What are you like? Are you disappointed? Obviously, you can be disappointed. Do you think that there's any malpractice on Brandon Bean's behalf? Because I kind of feel like and he kind of talked to it. He talked about like younger GMs and stuff like that in fantasy football. I feel like Monday he left work thinking I'm going to come back Tuesday and strike a deal. I think I've got something worked out. That's why he freed up that money with Taron Johnson to get a little bit more cap space. And I think that he kind of just got the legs kicked from under him, and maybe somebody came in with a better deal or something else, whether it was Shaheed or whether it was a bigger fish like Olave or BTJ. I think that we've got to give him a little bit of grace because of the fact that, it does take two teams to tango.
It does, and you got to look at the Buffalo Bills are a wrecking ball in this league. Like people fear the Buffalo Bills, right? So a GM is, especially a younger one, why would you fuel, a team that is a Super Bowl favorite betting on, at least has the best quarterback in the world? Why am I going to give them a good player to make them better when I could
Right.
trade them, for the same assets and move them to
Right.
a team that isn't going to make as big of an impact? So you got to look at that stuff too. You got to look at that stuff too, right? What is this team thinking about the Bills? Like, and they know, like, we are hard on the Bills, but we love the Bills, but we are also the most critical on the Bills as a fan base. The rest of the league, you can't tell me they don't fear 1-7 in the boys when you got to play
Absolutely.
them. That's so I think that had a lot to do with it as well. You're never going to get Sauce Gardner in division like that. I'm never giving 2 first-round picks for Sauce Gardner, so I didn't really, care too much about that.
Right.
The receiver thing, being kind of said it in the fact of, when they were talking about Shaheed, and he in his press conference, it was very subtle, but he was saying, "Hey, there's Ivy." He was saying that it was, it was
She just
more
hates
of
she's coming
a.
back for more.
He's like, yeah, we were in on a few things, and we were actually, some people. The list of who's available and the list who actually gets moved is completely different,
Right.
and he mentioned that, like, I was talking to, basically we were looking at somebody else in New Orleans. So I think he was going after Chris Olave. I don't think Sheed was even in
Yeah.
his deal. I think
Or
so.
Brian
It's not
Thomas.
like
Or Brian Thomas.
yeah, exactly. It's not like the Seahawks just, or the Saints said, screw the Bills. We're
You
going to
picked it
the,
up for me.
we're
Just
going to
try
the
your best.
Seahawks. So I think he was going after Olave. I think he was trying to make deals. I think
Got to move
every
it back. You
GM
got
in
to put
this
all.
league every GM in this league is trying to make a deal on the trade deadline, and there's 32 teams, and only 8 players got traded. Like, so it happens. It is what it is. I think he was a little more hesitant than last year because he did the thing with Amari Cooper last year, and not that it hurt us, but I just don't like. There's some pride too, right? And I don't know if he was just going to be like, all right, I'm just going to go get another receiver, just like last year. Deja vu. We talked about it, so maybe he was a little more resistant of it. But I think
Yeah.
teams are resistant to give Bills assets.
Assets. Yeah. I mean, maybe you're right. I mean, I listened to the press conference, and I had to listen back to it because I heard WGR and I heard Jeremy talking about his tone and stuff like that. Then I heard Chris Brown talking about his tone and how frustrated and disappointed he sounded. And because that, when I listened back to it, I was like, this dude probably thought he had a deal, and some other team came up and kind of undercut his legs, whether it was Shaheed or BTJ or Olave or whatever the case may be. I thought that might have been a situation where he thought he had something. It might have been a handshake, wink, wink. Listen, we'll talk in the morning. Let's go to bed. It's late. I'll talk to you tomorrow. And then by the time he gets back to the table, I got, Brandon, sorry, what I mean? I got a better deal. And that would piss me off, like that would make me mad if I thought that I had something that was, fair in respects to compensation. So we'll see. I mean, really, this is the team. You know what I mean? Like, trade deadline is fun and it's fun to talk about and stuff like that. But like, Bills Mafia, this is your squad. You knew that this was your squad. The one thing I don't want at the end of the year, and this is what I'm really praying for, is that injuries are not an excuse. I'm so sick of giving McDermott passes for injuries at the end of the year. We look at it and the season's over and we're, oh man, well, if it wasn't AJ Klein out there, or if it wasn't, so-and-so out there, if Benford doesn't get hurt. And remember, you talked about, like, they should have had a plan because they should have known Benford was coming off a concussion and could have gotten hurt again. All of that type of stuff. I just don't want injuries to be part of it at all. And I'm really hoping that that everybody can just kind of sink their teeth into this team, because if we find a way to get Day back, Daquan Jones, if we find a way to get Ed Oliver back, maybe if it's even in the playoffs, there's a way for this team to really, to go after like I just said, everything that we thought was in front of us is in front of us. Yes, we've suffered some injuries, but I really don't want that to be an excuse at the end of the year, DT. It's starting to become a broken record to me.
Yeah, this is the team, and we've had a pretty good next man up mentality. There's a few players on this team that there isn't a next man up, and we know I'm not even going to say those names out loud, right? So but for the majority, it's been next man up, and that's how it's going to be. Even the names thrown around at this deadline, nobody was gonna, it's not really moving the needle that much. It might help overall, but not that crazy. The Myles Garrett to the Patriots.
That's true.
Myles Garrett to the Patriots issue. I'll say that, and thank God that didn't happen, right?
Right.
But that would have been a wild, who knows what's involved in that trade. But like other than that, like crazy, crazy unrealistic talk, like all the other trades made, like nothing really was like that earth shattering, right? So I'm just kind of defending myself here. I would have loved to get somebody, sure, but we didn't, and now I have to be okay with it because this is the 53. This is the guys we're going to have, and I think we are going to get some health back, and we got to maintain to stay healthy the guys who are currently. So this is the team. This was the team that we were the Super Bowl favorites at in August. This is the team that sitting at 6-2, one game away from the 1 seed in the AFC.
Yeah, and shout out to Doug. I'm seeing you on Facebook, Doug. He says, does Philly make you a little bit nervous with the running game? I'm talking about the American Football Conference. I want to wake up on Sunday and my team's in the Super Bowl. That's how we do it here at Nickel City Crew, Doug. I have not even gotten that far yet. Let me get to Super Bowl Sunday. I'm waking up. We're representing the conference in the Super Bowl, and then I'm ready to let the chips fall from there. So, no, I don't care about Philly and all that other stuff. I mean, yes, we've seen them in the regular season, but it's a non-conference game. I could give a shit. Right now, I'm focused on the conference, and after watching Denver last night, and they lead the conference at 8-2, and I'm like, this is your quarterback? And yeah, sure, their defense is legit. They're great defense. They can't hold Josh Allen. We just saw that last year with pretty much the same defense, even with Surtain. This is nobody that scares me. So I kind of was a little bit tempered. By beginning of the week, I was mad that, oh my gosh, Tuesday comes and goes. We didn't make a trade. And then by today, I was like, you know what? What, like you said, DT, what was the needle? How much was the needle going to be moved? You know what I mean? If it was BTJ, that's different because he's going to be here for multiple years. But other than that, like, I don't know, man. I mean, even Shaheed, I want some speed on the outside, but I mean, maybe you can find a way to throw, Curtis Samuel the ball or throw Elijah Moore the ball. So we'll see. Now, as we begin to transition and wrap up tonight's episode, again, sponsored by Queen City Vintage. Listen, check out our boy Nick and Kai. They are running a great site. We had such a blast down here in Charlotte for the Charlotte takeover here at the Carolina Panthers game a couple weeks ago. Listen, check them out, Queen City Vintage. They've got all of the swag. They've got all of the different things that you need when it comes to retro gear, Bills, Sabres, Buffalo City t-shirts, sweatshirts, everything you need, hats. They've got it for you. So check out our boys. They've got, again, a actual great storefront on Elmwood right across from 40 Thieves. So check them out, Queen City Vintage. That's Queen_City_Vintage_. DT, it's Squish the Fish week. I grew up with it. Now, some of the luster, some of the shine is a little bit off right now. It looks like this team is imploding, breaking at the seams. I don't know what to expect, but I do know that I will be very, very disappointed if the Bills don't make this a non-game by halftime. And I'm being honest. Now, yep, I said it to start the show. Chris Berman says that's why you play the game. Not only would I be shocked if we lose, I'll be shocked if it's still a game in the third quarter. They come out. It's going to be nice down there. Bills take over in Miami. Come out and just take care of business. Don't leave any room. Don't do the Saints thing. Don't do the first Miami thing. Don't even give them any type of hope or any type of thought or inkling that they can hang with you. Let them know that they are not in your weight class. They are punching above their weight class, and put them to bed early. By third quarter, this team, I mean, they'll be checked out, man. They already fired their GM. I don't see a way that the Bills lose. I don't even want it to be close, but obviously I'll take a win either way.
I sure hope so. All right, before we get into this, Rob, can we make a pact right here on Nickel City Crew Friday night, November 7th?
Okay.
We're making a pact. Next season, Nickel City Crew's going to Miami.
Yeah, let's do it.
We're going.
I'm down. I'm down. I was thinking about road trip next year. And
Miami.
I was like, well, Vegas
I love
I'm down.
Miami. That city is great. And to go down there, and it's always a Bills takeover. I'm always jealous. I mean, it was great. Charlotte, it's the same. We're going to see the same thing we saw in Charlotte. It's South Beach. I mean, it's South Beach. It's a divisional game. It's always a big takeover down there. I want to go. I've been wanting, and it just doesn't fall right.
Have you ever done it? Have you ever done it?
I've been to Miami a bunch, but I've never gone
to takeover. You've never been down there for a game? Okay. Let's do it. I'm down. Pack. Shake on it. We good.
Yep.
I'm down.
Got it. Because it's always like, it was always here or there. Like the one year I was going to, it was the last game of the season right after the holidays, whatever it is. Next year, I think we gotta go down to South Beach and be a part of that takeover. So glad
I'm
we
all the
got
way
that.
down. I'm all the way down.
I agree. It's now this has got to be the point you start rolling. All right. We had our nice start to the season. Then you drop a little, you come back to reality, you get right again with a big 40-9, you get right again against the Chiefs. This has got to be a roll through game because you got the Bucks coming home the next week. And depending on what they do with the Patriots this week, it makes it very, very crucial. So not looking past it, but you gotta take care of this Miami Dolphins team. They're imploding. They're brutalized in all directions. And then on top of that, you got Josh Allen who owns them each game, even when they were good or good, they still owning them and getting dubs against them. So Tua has shown spurts that he can go crazy. Sean McDermott has never really let that happen. So I'm not worried about that defensively. I think offensively, we're back in a rhythm. Who's guarding us? Josh Allen takes care of them. Go out there in front of the Bills fans, in front of that 85-degree weather, and let's have some fun at 1 o'clock on Sunday. Nice old school 1 o'clock game. Enjoy it. Have a good day. Big blowout. Get on the Bucks. I'm with it. And then next year we'll be down in South Beach doing our thing.
Yeah, man, I'm down with it, man. I mean, I think that this is a situation where this is a team. Now, again, we're at the halfway point of the year, so like some stuff has been clearly defined. This team is selling off parts. They trade Jalen Phillips. Obviously, they could have traded more guys, but they didn't. There's rumors now that they're going to hire a new GM and maybe let McDaniels come back for one more year because they can't really get out of the Tua contract. So might as well just let him continue to call plays because he is a great play caller. You already know I like Mike McDaniels in respects to play calling. I mean, just give them no hope, leave no doubt, make it just be clear in the beginning of the game that, listen, we're not going to mess around with you guys. It's not going to be like last time where we're waiting on some type of fluke, block punt and running into the kicker or something like that. Like we're going to take care of business and leave no doubt. Now, as we begin to wrap up tonight, the Nickel City Crew, tailgate report is presented again by Queen City Vintage. DT, you have gotten a chance to decompress. You're back in town. You made it back to Buff safely. Talk to me about what it's been like leading up last week, what you did, because you and I had such an epic time that I didn't know if you were going to be even ready for Sunday. I had to check on you Sunday, like, what are you doing? Where are you at? How are you feeling? Because I know that we went so hard that I was like, all right, my boy, I got to check on my boy on Sunday. Make sure that he's watching the game, whether he's at the bachelor pad or wherever he is. I wanted to check on you. So you go first on the Nickel City Crew tailgate report tonight, presented by Queen City Vintage.
All right. Well, it was a nice week, short week, getting out of Charlotte, getting back. When did we get back? Tuesday. So realistically, Wednesday was the start of the week. So nice work week, was busy, kind of catching up. So that made the days go quick. Into the weekend, Halloween weekend, I'm grown now. I'm not going to be doing much. You know how that goes.
Yeah,
had a good time. Went to a silent disco. You ever been to a silent disco, Rob?
I have not. I've seen them, but I've never been to one.
They're fun, man. They're fun. It's something so simple, but it's a great time. It's you wear the headphones and there's 3 channels. You get like a one channel's like an EDM, one channel's like a pop 40. And then there's like an R&B and hip hop station.
Okay.
Obviously, I was on the R&B and hip hop most of the time. And the light on your headphones shows what station you're on, right?
Oh, it's an indicator.
So it's like, I got this song. I see somebody else with a red thing. Okay, I know we're jamming to the same song, So it's just fun. And it was a Halloween theme. Everyone was in their costumes. It was kind of last minute for me because I wasn't going. So I went, I doubled up. I was kind of this last year, but I doubled down this year. I was Big X the Plug. So it's not from Texas.
Plug.
It's not from Texas.
That had to be a cool outfit.
So I had this like gold chain with like a plug on it, and then a big a t-shirt that with an X and a sweatsuit and some like fake Versace shades, and I was Big X the Plug, and a few people knew who I was because one time during the thing, a Big X the Plug song was playing. And I was like, oh, and then I saw a guy and he was pointing at him and his girl were pointing at me like, oh, there's Big X the Plug. And they were listening to Big X the Plug. So last year when I was Big X the Plug, I think I was a year too early. Nobody really got it. I didn't get any votes at my Halloween party for the best costume. But this year, Big X the Plug a little more in play. So that was cool. Really didn't have much planned for the game. It was quiet, and I wasn't going. A lot of my people were going. Brett and all them were heading to the game, so I didn't have much planned. Brother-in-law Derek hit me up. He took a picture of the Goodyear blimp because it was over Niagara Falls on Saturday.
Okay.
And he's like, "Oh, the blimp must be here for the game tomorrow." And I was like, "Oh, speaking of the game tomorrow, what are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, we're chilling." So they got a nice property up north. We put the projector up in the garage. Me, my sister, my brother-in-law Derek, and my
Ooh,
nephew
that's nice.
Elliot,
That's nice.
and my niece Audrey, and we had a nice little afternoon. I brought up some snacks and we ordered some subs, and it was nice that 4 o'clock start, so it was dark after the first quarter, so the projector was nice. Uh,
That's what's up.
Big, beautiful, nice and crispy. Had a good time with the niece and nephew. Elliot, he had his Bills hoodie on. He was having a good time, and we were teaching him, let's go Buffalo and go Bills. And every time we scored, we were clapping, and he was clapping, and it was a good day. Good to see the fam, and kind of spontaneous, but nice little setup, a garage projector to watch the 6-2
Ooh, that's
victory.
nice. That's nice.
Yeah,
That's nice. I mean, down here, man, in Charlotte, man, we're wrapping up. So you already know we're a sports family, and the Kings and so we're transitioning. So now we've got soccer just ended last week. I told you Quincy just finished up on flag football last week, so that was his last game. So we won the championship. I'm happy
Let's
to report
go.
Nickel City Crew.
Bears.
We won the championship. The Bears. We went 5-1. We had the largest point differential, so we won the title. I don't think anybody else had one loss, but there were only a couple teams in that league, but they're little kids. It's 6U. We had a great time though, but everybody performed well. It was really fun. Bobby won his last soccer game, so he had a great successful season. I told you about the hat trick a couple weeks ago. So listen, so now we've transitioned. Now we're done with that, and then I have literally 1 week off, and then it's basketball. And I coach Nate and Quincy in their basketball team. So I literally get 1 weekend. So last week we just chilled, man. We did a little bit of wing action, some honey hot. And it was funny because I made sauce, and then
you go to Al's, or you make them in house?
No, we was at the house. I was at the house, so
Okay.
I was chilling. So I was at the house. So I made like this meat sauce. The boys love this meat sauce. So I had Quincy, and I was like, Quincy, what do you want for dinner on Saturday? He was like, I want that meat sauce. Bobby's gone at his buddy's house. Nate's gone at his buddy's house for a sleepover. So I'm like, man, do I really want to cook this? And it's just me and Quincy. And I was like, you know what? I can serve it tomorrow on Sunday. So I was like, you know what, Quincy, no problem. So I got the meat sauce, shrimp in there. So we did that all, the queso, and so we did that on Saturday night, served it again on Sunday. And then Bobby and Nate's mom, Rebecca, made some wings, and it was good. It was perfect. I was like, you know what? I'm not even worried about this game. I'm just gonna watch it, and I'm just gonna enjoy it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be stressed about it, because I told you how I felt, and everybody knows how I felt. So I was so laid back, DT, that my ass took a nap between the second and third quarter on accident. Got slumped just like you in the shed and fell asleep. Nate comes out to the shed and he's like, yo, Dad, we just scored. I know you sleep because you would have running in the house. So I run back in the house, whatever the case may be. So I stayed true. I was not getting stressed about it, and that's how not stressed I was. Took a little bit of nap right before halftime, and then into the third quarter. Obviously finished the game in the house with the Kings, and I was obviously happy about that. Now this weekend, again, last weekend of just chill, quiet, tranquil. So I've got Princess Ivy all weekend. You obviously, Nickel City Crew, you've heard her this this entire episode. She's here in the building with her brothers, hanging out, having a good time. So this weekend, I was on Instagram, and then I was on Facebook, and does your phone ever do like where you'll look up something and then all of a sudden that shit just keeps popping the fuck? And I'm like, yo, y'all need to stop. Like, you guys need to stop listening to me. This shit is so weird. I saw blue cheeseburgers, and I'm like, man, those look so good. And then I like Googled something, and I was like, and then now just my feeds are just inundated. So I'm gonna do some blue cheeseburgers, DT, with bacon for Bobby, because Bobby loves bacon. I'm gonna do blue cheeseburgers with a little bit of bacon to go on top if you want that, if that's your fancy. And what I do is I'll get the crumble blue cheese, get the ground beef, and I'm mixing it all up in the patty. And we're gonna do some blue cheeseburgers for Squish the Fish Week, and just enjoy it this weekend, man. That's really it. I am so happy to not wake up. Bobby's games on soccer games are at 8 o'clock. I joke with the parents every time I come. They're like, "What the fuck are we doing? Community service? Like, is this like part of our probation? Like, what? Who does this to parents? Why would we be playing soccer at 8 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday in the middle of fall? It's horrible." And so finally, that's done. No more soccer, no more 8 a.m.s, 7:30 in the morning getting up because the field's close to my house, but still, man, that is like like, why are we doing that to kids and parents? 8 a.m. soccer game? Like, who wants to do that? Started at 10. It makes no sense to me. So this is the first week, get a chance to chill, and then literally I'm right back at it. Coach Rob is right back at it. Now, shout out to my flag football team. DT, one of the kids, the parents, the mom got me this little, and I was like, "Yo, that is so sweet." The glare on the thing, but it says Coach Rob Flag Football 2025. It's personalized. It's got the Bills actual lettering. I love it, man. So I've been using this thing all week. So shout out to Rowan and Riser and their mom Abby. I mean, that was a really cool gift. Shout out to Nathaniel on my team. His parents got me a gift card, so it was really cool. It's cool to get the love. And I don't do it for that. Obviously, I didn't know I was getting that, but it's always cool to get the love and
You're a good coach, Rob. I saw it in action.
I love it.
You were good. You were a good coach. You're a good coach. I saw it in action. A well coached team. Well coached team.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Basketball is my first love, so I'm really getting ready to grind out. This is my last year being able to coach my middle king Nate. So I'm gonna be on his ass because next year he's gonna be trying out for the middle school team. So I really can't wait. But yes, this weekend is chill. Watch him. I want to watch some college football. DT, the YouTube thing. Are you hip? Like what the? Yo, man,
unacceptable.
I cannot live my life this way. Like, I need to figure out what, either they got to come to an agreement or I'm going to have to get this ESPN, Hulu, Disney bundle or whatever. I can't do. Last week, all the good games were on ESPN or ABC. I'm watching CBS. I'm watching freaking Ohio State. I can't stay in Ohio State as a Michigan fan. I got to watch the whole game. It's dragging out. DT, I can't. Have you experienced that? Do you know about the YouTube thing?
Oh yeah, it's bad. Yeah, I was. Yeah, I'm looking. I'm like, what is the deal? Because I have YouTube TV. Yeah, and I was like, what is the deal on this? I mean,
I can't live my life this way.
I have one of those pirate boxes, that it just has everything. So I don't. It's not the most ideal. If it's one single thing I'm looking to watch that I know I can't get on the YouTube or easily.
So does the pirate box give you ESPN? It gives you access.
Yeah, to every channel. But it's
you're gonna have to give me that.
It stinks. It stinks for if you have one specific thing, okay, I want to watch this pay-per-view event and I'm not paying the $80 for pay-per-view, I go on the box, watch it. Or I want to watch this exact, game. But the beauty of the YouTube TV is you could do quad screen it.
Oh, yes.
So you could get the 4 or 5 games going that you want to kind of keep eyes on through the Saturday, because I'm not a diehard college fan, so I'm not watching every snap of some of these games, but you like to see what the scores are and just chill watching
college. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so you can't do. I can still go get a game if I want it, but I can't have the quad screen. It's a little harder to get to. So yeah, I agree. It's ridiculous. I mean, I guess I don't know who's in the right. I credit to YouTube TV for saying we're not raising prices on our people, but then it's but
then ESPN's we just came out with all this bundle stuff. We're not gonna let you just give it out for damn near free.
But then now it's I'm probably gonna have to move. I mean, I can't move on from YouTube TV now because I got the Sunday ticket, and I'm in 500 to that. But
shout out to my boy Steph. He said terrible. Barkley.
It does suck. It's annoying. I think there's a lot of noise around this though. There's a lot of noise around this. You got.
Oh no, they got to fix this. I literally can't live my life this way. Tomorrow, I don't know what I'm going to do. Hoping all the marquee games are on CBS, but they're not. CBS is a SEC network, so they got one game on. ESPN, they just have too much content, man. I cannot. And ABC, Monday Night Football. I guess people were mad at Monday Night Football. Monday night, people couldn't. I couldn't watch. I was trying to stream it, and then I just gave up. I was like, I don't care about the Cowboys enough to keep trying to stream it. But you know how you go through the backdoor channels, and I just gave up. DT, I have literally, I can't live my life this way. ESPN will break me. I will pay. I think it was $30 a month, and then it could go up in a year or something. I'll just have to do it if they can't get their act together between Google and Disney. This shit is ridiculous. I can't stand it.
Yeah, and if you do ESPN Plus, you can subscribe to ESPN Plus. That does do quad screen, but you can only do quad if you're doing it off a gaming device. So if you're doing it off the Xbox or the PlayStation, you can do quad screen, but you can't do it just off the regular app.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I got to figure something out because last Saturday was horrible. Sunday was obviously fine because I've got the ticket, but then after that, like I couldn't watch the game on Monday. Last night saved me, but I didn't even want to watch that game on Amazon. So we'll figure it out. So just hold in there, YouTube TV subscribers like myself and DT. We'll hopefully Google and Disney figure it out soon because I don't know how many more Saturdays and Sundays I can do this, man. But listen, out there, I'm ready, DT. Like midway point of the year, and it's funny because shout out to my boy Steph Kibler, longtime friend. He asked how long is the championship window open? Listen, to answer that succinctly is that the championship window is always open as long as Josh is in his prime. I have warned Bills Mafia that he is not going to be playing as long as we think that he's going to be playing. And because of that, it makes me nervous. So I would like to just take advantage of every single season that he has. Again, I'm giving Brandon Breen a little bit of grace on the trade deadline, DT, but I look at the conference and I'm just not scared. And because I'm not scared, I just don't want lame ass excuses at the end of the year. I really don't, DT. I don't. I think everything that we thought we could have, we still can have.
Yeah, level playing field, and we got the biggest thing to make it an unlevel playing field, right? So let's stick to that. Let's keep building. We got to start stacking them, and this is a great opportunity to do it. A team that you own, a team that Josh Allen owns, a team that is in shambles in every which way, a team that you need to use as a warm up to have another Florida team coming the next week that is really going to mean something depending on what they do. So cheer for the Buccaneers this week. And cheer for the Bills down in South Beach. I'm already seeing people down there. It just looks so fun. I mean, Charlotte was great too, but now
no, South Beach is different. It's just a different level. It's a different level, and the scenery.
And it's Miami. Miami. I mean, granted, they dropped one again last week to go to 2 losses, but it's their homecoming tomorrow.
Really?
They play Syracuse. Yeah. Ooh. So I know a lot of people doing the twofer.
They're doing the double dip.
Yeah,
because they play in the same stadium, don't they?
Yeah, going and watching the Cuse Hurricanes game tomorrow, and then there'll be Bills Dolphins Sunday. So a lot of Western New York hype down there. It's gonna be a good weekend. Yeah, I agree. Go in, punch him in the mouth, take care of business. You're seeing third stringers in the third and fourth quarter.
No problem.
And we got we got the champagne on the way back on the Delta back to Buff.
I love it. Listen, out there, I listen, Bills Mafia, have a great weekend. Enjoy it out there. Listen, spread love, not hate. I don't really have anything else to say, DT. I mean, we kind of covered it all. Everything's in front of us. I would love to go see us go grab that 1 seed, and I think it's all right in front of us. So do not slip up. No fuck ups on Sunday. Go take care of business. Take care of the hapless Dolphins, and get ready for the Bucks coming to town. They're coming to us, right? We're at home for all the big games are at home this year. Yeah, Phillies at the end of the year. Okay, since he's here and all that, but
two 1 o'clock games in a row. Brace yourselves, Bills Mafia.
Listen, DT out there, enjoy it, man. Enjoy your Sunday for sure. Enjoy tomorrow. I'm going to sleep in tomorrow for the first time if Ivy lets me. As long as she lets me, I'm sleeping in. No coaching, no nothing tomorrow. So I'm really happy about that. But listen, out there, spread love, not hate. These were my Bills thoughts said out loud. Hit them with a Go Bills, DT.
Go Bills, 7-2. 7-2.
I love it.